News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter in for Emily Matson this week. Topping our news today, big changes are now in effect for the USVI when it comes to COVID-19 protocols. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. announced on Monday that the mask mandate is changing for the territory, effective immediately. USVI News' Ali Born-Vanak has those details, plus what it means for traveling.
Haley, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has announced some of the biggest news that we have received since the COVID-19 pandemic first began. He announced on Monday that the mask mandate is no longer a requirement in the USVI for indoor and commercial establishments. This is big news for the territory. That being the case, there still is a mask mandate for ports of entry, for healthcare facilities, and USVI schools. This announcement comes on the helms of the latest COVID numbers. Right now, there are 38 active cases of COVID-19, 22 in St. Croix, 15 in St. Thomas, and 1 on St. John.
We are really doing well with COVID because we have put in the work, not just me and the commissioner here, but the entire community, to ensure that we kept everybody safe during COVID. And all good work deserves a reward. So effective immediately, we are not requiring masks indoors, in commercial or government establishments. We are still evaluating the use of masks in ports of entry, schools, and healthcare facilities. So all of those mask restrictions will remain in place until further notice. We will get there, but in baby steps. With caution in front is always the best way to go. So remember, you don't need a mask indoors now, except in ports of entry, schools, healthcare facilities. That includes our senior facilities as well. But we all have the right to wear your mask if that makes you feel more comfortable.
And when it comes to the travel portal, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. said that that's still in place. He and the health commissioner, along with his administration, are still encouraging everyone to social distance and stay safe as things continue to improve with COVID-19, and hopefully in the future, more restrictions can ease up as well. In St. Thomas, Ali Born-Vanak, USVI News.
Thanks, Ali. And Monday was the first day back in the classroom for kids in USVI's public schools. As COVID-19 cases decline across the nation, Governor Albert Bryan announced that students across the territory could head right back into the classroom for in-person learning 5 days a week. Students in the virtual program continue to learn virtually right now. Masks are still required to be worn at bus stops, on school buses, on campus, and in all classrooms. Safety protocols will continue to be enforced on all school campuses. And now on to the latest with the war in Ukraine. As the war rages in Ukraine, officials and state-run media in Russia paint a very different picture of what's going on. For one thing, they insist the invasion, which has isolated the country and already cost thousands of lives, isn't an invasion at all. Here's a look at Moscow's propaganda effort.
On state TV, an unreality.
Специальная военная операция по защите Донбасса идет по плану и в соответствии с графиком. Об этом заявил Владимир Путин в разговоре с президентом.
This unreality is now the law of the land across Russia, with words like war or invasion banned, and anyone accused of spreading, quote, false information about the Russian military facing up to 15 years in prison. That's led the last remaining independent Russian news channels to close.
Russia is becoming absolutely isolated state. It really looks like North Korea to me.
Ekaterina Kotrikadze was an anchor for TV Rain and has now fled Russia. She says Russians are only being told one story.
The message is clear and very simple, that NATO is right around the corner, that NATO is threatening Russia.
Across the country, protests are being crushed with an iron fist. Monitoring groups say around 14,000 anti-war protesters have been detained since the start of the invasion. Evgeny Popov is a sitting Russian lawmaker.
How do you think President Putin's war on Ukraine is going? Our government tells us that military operation is going pretty well. You keep referring it to as a military operation, but this is an invasion. This is a war. You and a huge part of Western world live in a world of Ukrainian myths.
What's undeniable is support for the military remains high. The letter Z, initially used by Russian forces to identify its own on the battlefield, has quickly become a potent pro-war propaganda tool for the Kremlin.
This letter, it's a symbol, and it's scary. It's frightening. It looks almost like this swastika symbol.
A U.S. official has told CBS News between 5,000 and 6,000 Russian soldiers may have been killed since fighting began.
Has the invasion of Ukraine been worth all that Russia is now experiencing?
We are a proud nation and we love our country. We have no any other motherland and we must protect it.
The Kremlin has been working hard to stoke that sense of nationalism across Russia. In fact, just this morning, the foreign minister said Moscow never wants to rely on the West ever again. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, London.
Now into some medical news and cases of high-risk pregnancies. A mom may have to see experts in maternal fetal medicine to make sure everything's going as it should. At a women's hospital in Baton Rouge, those experts have a case they've never seen before.
So you're having what's called dichorionic diamniotic twins, right?
Okay. High-risk pregnancies come in all shapes and sizes.
Anything can happen.
Now I'm looking at the blood flow through the umbilical cord.
For Courtney Spears, it comes in the shape of 2 tiny heartbeats.
As that pregnancy grows, your body doesn't necessarily know that you only got, 2 versus 1, and so as it grows bigger, it puts you at increased risk for other things to happen, such as preterm labor, preterm delivery, other things such as diabetes in pregnancy, or even high blood pressure in pregnancy and preeclampsia.
That's the front of baby B.
Courtney and her husband Everett are expecting twin girls in June.
Yes, ma'am. I have not come across a case like Courtney's.
But that's not what makes this pregnancy unique.
I think it probably has happened, but it's so rare that you can't even really find good statistics.
A is over here on your left.
These are not Courtney's first set of twins.
We have twins in our family, but I wasn't expecting me to be the one to have the twins. So it was exciting when we first found out.
Ethan and Curtis were born in September 2020.
Ethan, as you can see here, in the orange shirt, busybody. Curtis is more calm.
10 months later,
and don't eat your sister's foot.
In July of 2021, came the boys' sisters, twins, Emery and Cassidy.
Cassidy, she's the one, she's sitting up, she's moving more, so she's a little bit more feisty than Emery. Emery is the smallest one, and she's kind of getting the hang of everything.
2 sets of twins and their big sister Amani made 5 kids. But then a few months later came 2 more heartbeats.
I didn't believe it at first. I thought they were showing me something from one of them. I thought they were showing me the pictures from one of them, and it was a joke.
The odds of having twins without fertility treatments are 1 in 1,000. 3 sets? Well, you do the math.
Unheard of.
These 2 are moving way faster than these 2, for sure.
Courtney and her husband said they wanted a big family, but after adding 3 sets of twins in 2 years, she says they're done.
Oh yeah, we have a no-touching policy, just until we can be sure.
7 kids in all makes them the Brady Bunch +1.
I am.
This family may not have a theme song yet, but they have each other.
It's fun. It's tiring. Of course, having one kid is tiring, but it's fun.
And yes, daily life comes with a lot of diapers and toys and milk.
Can you give sister kids?
But Courtney says they wouldn't have it any other way.
I know a lot of people would be like, oh my God, that got to be overwhelming. Sometimes it can be, but once you look at them and you just see the day-to-day life, it's fun. It's all fun.
And by the way, mom and twins are both doing great. The family won't know for sure until the girls are born, but there's a chance they could be identical, just like their big brothers.